It's Sunday, it's 9 p.m., and as we teased last week, George is not our guest. He's coming on next week. I had the weeks messed up, so we have, let me see if I can point the right way here. Øystein here, he's going to talk about his homemade ATAS coil, which is, I think, just as good as Jesu's own, I think. Let's see if we get some copyright infringement claims here. But let's call it an automatic coil compatible with Yaesu radios.
Yeah, that was what I was going for.
Yeah.
Okay, you need another acronym then, because I don't think ATAS works with that acronym. Automatic coil. What was the...
Automatic coil compatible with Yaesu radios.
Automatic coil compatible with Yaesu radios. That's an APRS.
Yeah, that's a sellable one. That's really nice.
Yeah, that's the. I mean, it's a ham radio name.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Øystein, you have a really cool channel as well with some BP mode QSOs on it and portable operations and so on, right?
Yeah, that's right. Mostly I do CW videos on both activations, but I want to turn some into do-it-yourself as well when I have time to. So with the CW part is me making a lot of mistakes, and you get to enjoy yourself, and maybe someone learns something along the way. I hope so.
And I like that you have subtitles on some of your videos, so for those who don't speak in beeps and dashes.
Yeah, I hope that will also be a tool to learn CW for some. It's about listening and to the sound of the characters, and then you have to know what character the sounds are.
Yep. Yeah. We're gonna get back to your channel and your automatic coil compatible with the Yaesu radios. What was it that again, Bob?
That was APRS.
Okay, yeah. Then we know what it's called.
Yeah.
It's like not every portable tape player is a Walkman.
Yeah.
And Kjetil, I just want to shoot in before we start the Ham Radio Moment of the Week, because you were on Ham Radio Dude's channel and tried to get off dad jokes.
I didn't try to. I succeeded.
Like
yeah.
I saw that t-shirt. I almost ordered it.
Yeah. Do you bring that to school with your kids?
No, I don't. But my dad bought me an adult size "My dad is the coolest guy in the world" t-shirt once. I didn't wear that much.
I actually got. I didn't see quite what it said, but this Christmas I did get a book on my job with the dad jokes, and the kids were really happy when I brought that one home.
Do you really need a book though? Because for me it comes quite naturally.
Yeah. After you reach
refreshing supply.
Yeah, after you reach a certain age, that comes naturally. But let's get on with the Ham Radio Moment of the Week. So Øystein has some time to talk about his automatic coil compatible with the Yaesu radios in a little while. Kjetil, what's your Ham Radio Moment of the Week?
Bit unsure. I've done some playing around with ham sticks, and I know they are controversial, but the first SSB QSO I got with it was a guy in Argentina, which is quite far away. So that was on 10 meters, and he wasn't strong, but that was really cool. And I worked the same guy from the same POTA the day after. So that is kind of cool.
Ham sticks are way better than sad hams tell you that they are. I've had my best portable QSOs with ham sticks. I've had Indonesia, I've had Fiji, and I've had VK on ham sticks.
Yeah, so I also ran a few US contacts and a few Europeans, but like the Argentina one was 12,000 kilometers. So that was fun. Also, I had my first SOTA of the year yesterday, and that was really nice. Went up to Lauvåsen, a place that Bob has been as well. And in summer, It's a really easy hike up there in 40 centimeters maximum, which I saw yesterday, of really powdery snow. It was actually quite hard, and but it was a beautiful trip, and got some nice contacts there as well.
You should get snowshoes for these outings.
I have them, but they are heavy to walking, and like it was a mix between 0 centimeters of snow and the heavy drifts, so it was really mixed. But that was fun.
I saw their pictures. This was it looks really nice there.
Yep.
Yeah.
It looks like a really nice place. But that's nice, though, being able to get out and do some portable activity during the weekend. I try to do that almost every weekend, and I can recommend it for everyone that's thinking about this hobby.
Yeah, and like yesterday, it was an amazing hike. Like just it's not in nature per se because you're walking on a gravel track, but when everything is covered by snow on a sunny day with no wind, it's just beautiful. You don't even notice that it's minus 8 degrees or whatever it was. It's just comfortable.
You could have said minus 18 and no one would have fact checked you, Kjetil.
Yeah, but it was minus 8 or something when I started, but still beautiful day.
But that's a nice ham radio moment of the week. Øystein, what's your ham radio moment of the week?
Yeah, my ham radio moment of the week. I haven't been had that much time to go on a long hike, and I just didn't feel like maybe I'm getting lazy to get outside. But so I did some activations from my car, and I got to test out my new tri-mag mount with just a whip antenna on top. So it seems to be working okay. And yeah, back to your hamstick and also this mag mount with a whip. And it's not everything about the antenna isn't the efficiency. It's all about. It's also about convenience and getting out. And if you, I saw another ham. It's told he had used like 2 or 3 hours on an activation. I also did that earlier, but sometimes I don't have an hour even. And but some antennas I can rig in just 5 minutes and be going. And
exactly. My experience is just efficiency or effective rigging beats efficient antennas every time.
Yeah, at least when doing POTA or portable operation, and have to rig the antenna every time, and yeah, sometimes you just don't have time to bring your best antennas.
Yeah,
exactly.
Or the weather is horrible, and like you'd like to get into the car as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Yep. I can set up a ham stick in less than 3 minutes now.
Yeah, and with the ATAS, it will be even quicker. You can stay in the car.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're not calling it an ATAS though. We're calling it a Yaesu.
A something.
I forgot what. Something. Adjustable coil compatible with Yaesu radios.
The Øystein.
Yeah.
And it's also so no one else get the blame for this thing.
I have to say now that at least 2 of you, I think you got some. I gave you this advice already, Tobias. Didn't work out for you, but at least for me, I have bayonet couplings on my ham sticks. So I don't spend 3 minutes. I spend less than a minute changing from 20 meters to 15 meters ham stick.
I'm talking about less than 3 minutes from parking the car till the radio is rigged up and everything's up.
Yeah, all right. Still, having that bayonet thing on the bottom of all the ham stick, that makes it the changeover really, really quick.
So,
but as I recall, Tobias, you had some problems with those, didn't you?
Yeah, I think I bought several pairs and they were not the same size, right?
Yep.
So the top and the bottom of the bayonet did not match across all the bayonet connectors, which is annoying.
That defeats the purpose completely.
Yeah, exactly. And Kjetil put the name of the antenna in the or the coil in the chat. The APRS.
Yeah,
you're much better at
nobody can
pronouncing,
remember that acronym. You have to shorten it further.
Tobias, what's your ham radio moment of the week?
It was a bit of a slow week. The Germans still had the benefit of another day off last Monday. So basically, it was 4 working days, and then the remains of cleaning up after Christmas, which basically means taking down all the Christmas lights and putting everything away and packaging up the crib. The cat was happy, as you can see. Always the highlight of the week when I go grocery shopping, and she can inspect everything I got.
That was the wrong button. Sorry.
Mainly sausages and other stuff, yeah, or meat. That's the most interesting bit. And then I had to go and continued with my Kenwood TH79E refurbishment. Figured out the pins and the pitch on this flex cable and ordered one from AliExpress. And I think I told you last week already that I managed to produce a zombie TH79E out of 2 broken ones. And I filmed a small video about it. And I took all the capacitors off of my second one and measured them with the ESR meter, and they're all bad. So I went out and ordered a whole truckload of SMD capacitors, because if you order 10, you don't order 10, you order a lot more, right? Okay, and since I was already going, and sorry for the bad picture, everybody has that service manual or knows where to get service manuals from the internet. Unfortunately, the component placement is missing in everything you can find on the internet. So I went for a hunt, getting a service manual that contains these, and I think I found it on eBay. Unfortunately, cost a few bucks, but if I get it and if the stuff is in there, then I will scan it, and then I can probably share it with others, so that only I have to buy that thing once.
You have almost as much money in that radio as you do in the D75 now.
Don't think so, but we're I'm not sure how many euros, but we're probably approaching 400 or so. Yeah, I think so. Okay, well, that's a ham radio moment. Not a lot of progress, but just, trudging on.
But at least that's more ham radio than some of us. And there's only 2 of us left. So, Bob, have you had more ham radio activity than Tobias?
That could have been a swipe at me, yes. But I have at least had 1 ham radio. Let's see if I can. Yeah, I can. I've been sick-ish all week, so I really didn't want to risk it. Now that I'm feeling a bit better and end up sick next week as well. So I did the only drive up within a reasonable distance. This is a sort of summit, would you believe it? That's Lima Alpha Oscar Sierra 003. So I drove up there early this morning. This is the place where everyone that lives in Oslo, they go skiing up there when it's sunny and cold. So basically that parking lot that you see, that filled up in about 10 minutes right after I got there. And it's huge. You only see a little bit of it on screen there. But I went up there to activate that summit for this year. And as you can see, there was an awful long walk from the car to the radio.
Yeah.
For those not aware, you're not allowed to be in any way in contact with your vehicle when you operate for summits on the air. So
I think I've activated that summit from the exact same spot, Bob.
I think I did too last year, exact same spot. So
I usually take it from, see the light pole behind there. So I usually park the car close to that and just walk up that little hill because there are some nice trees there.
Yeah, but there was this nice pile of snow and there was no wind, so I just stuck the mast in there, and
nice.
That worked.
Yeah.
So for the non-Norwegians, that's the middle of Oslo, or is that the radio?
It's west of Oslo, a little bit west of Oslo, and
northwest of Oslo. It's not far from downtown Oslo.
Yeah, you can take a tram up there, and it takes about half an hour or so.
Yeah, and if you don't really enjoy getting stabbed, then you can take a car as well. I don't recommend taking the tram in Oslo.
Oslo is not a bad place to take public transportation.
If you don't mind getting stabbed, of course.
Yeah,
I've never been stabbed.
All right.
Well,
That's
I
like
get all
that guy
my
that has been smoking
Norwegian.
for 20 years, for 40 years, and he hasn't burnt his fingers yet, so smoking can't be dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that aside, that's my only proper radio activity this week. But I think I bragged last week that I got a really good deal on some batteries from AliExpress. So I've been working to verify that was in fact the case, and of course it wasn't. But I've been programming a personal project, and I haven't done that in a long time. So I've learned Python this week, and I got some wonderful help from I think his name is Simon, even though it says Stig in the chat.
It's Simon, SA6TIG.
Yeah, that's correct. So I'm getting some wonderful help there to weed out all the beginner mistakes of my code. But
And that's over at the Discord, right?
It's going on in the Discord, yeah. So if you want to see me embarrass myself with Python, you can look there. And I had some success. This now produces nice graphs such as this. When I discharge a battery, I can see the voltage versus time curve. So. And at the end of it, it will tell me, like you see on top here, the total capacity in the battery. So this is not one of the ones that I got from AliExpress. This is one I bought from Claes Olsson, which is a Norwegian or Scandinavian chain. It was rated at 2.6 amp hours, and it measured to 2.4 amp hours. So I was pretty okay with that. All the other ones were rated at 3.5 amp hours, and they averaged about 1.4. So not such a good deal after all on these batteries. That's important to keep in mind if you want to buy batteries from AliExpress. You should have somewhere to test them to to not get disappointed.
And I seem to remember that Tobias, you bought some batteries from China a while ago, didn't you?
Yeah, I think I bought some from eBay, but I was tired and I did it at 3 a.m. in the morning browsing, from bed. And if you're not thinking straight, then you buy stupid batteries. And I think they were rated about complete ridiculous 3.7 volt LiPo cells with 4,200 milliamp hours, which is not even physically possible. And they ended up with 700 milliamp hours of capacity.
Even worse than mine.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. But I have to say,
the funny thing is, half a year later, I got an email from eBay. By the way, you should not use those batteries. And then so, I figured that out by now.
But I have to say the capacity in the ones that I got, about 1.4 amp hours, that's actually usable for some workloads. So it's not complete waste. And I paid about €1 per cell.
Yeah, sometimes just putting it on a scale is enough to know that it's bogus, right? If they're too light, then...
these felt really... they're probably production rejects that I got, because they felt really nice. They were really nice packaged. Everything looked just perfect with them. But
if they did the same trick as the Beats by Dr. Dre headphones, where they put lead weights inside them in order to increase the weight of them.
Yeah, I've seen some with only sand inside, for example, and they are silicate batteries.
Oh,
so
a very small cell on top and a lot of sand at the bottom. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I've seen those as well.
Yeah. No, but anyway, it's been fun learning Python. I recommend it if you want to learn a new programming language. That wasn't as bad, nowhere near as bad as I was expecting. So having fun with that. Looking forward to the next project.
And I think going to your small comment to your graph earlier, I think you did 3.5 amps discharge current. Was that right?
Yeah, I forget. That's what I did. I was trying to discharge at 1C, and I had that setting from the AliExpress batteries. So okay. I'm going to run that test again at 1C and see if I can get a little bit more out of it, and I think I will. So
yeah, I think if you go a bit slower, you will get it out of it, because 3.5 seems a bit high. You're pushing it.
Yeah. No, the plan was to run it at 2.6, which is the rated capacity. So at 1C, that was the plan to discharge. I'll try that when I get it recharged. But I've worked my way through now 20. 20 of these cells. And it's not like you can just set and forget these things, because batteries from AliExpress are a potential fire hazard. So I've been babysitting these 20 monitoring runs.
But
So you can buy,
our friends over at the Ham Radio Workbench has an episode about a guy building an 18650 battery tester.
That must be Mark.
No, Mark didn't buy it. They had a guest that did that.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Yeah.
That made a test rig for 18650 batteries. So
I think that was to calculate internal resistance, not so much the capacity testing.
Yeah,
but
probably. Sometimes those episodes go by in a blur because they're so long. So
yeah. By the way, there's a very nice episode out now on these station controllers. If you want to be prepared for when George comes on, you can. Well, I'd recommend listening to the latest.
And speaking about the station controllers, I have 2 videos out that not many people have seen. So I'd appreciate it if people would watch them as well. Station controller is up and running here, actually.
You know what would help the viewership of those? If you had a giveaway, like a giveaway for a Flex radio or something.
Yeah, giveaway for some Flex or Alecraft that you can use with the station controller. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe in a few years.
I guess it's my ham radio. I guess it's my ham radio moment of the week then. And it's so funny that you should mention Python, Bob, because that's pretty much my only ham radio moment of the week. And I did not enjoy Python as much as you did.
Then you didn't do it right.
Because this started on Friday evening, and let's switch to my overhead cam. And I'm just going to remove this. This is also one of my ham radio moments of the week. The VGC N76. Haven't really played with it yet. Looks like a decent radio. Going to set it up for a TNC and APRS and see if it works. At least this one, compared to my previous VGC radio, actually updates the firmware. You have that other radio now, Bob. So
yeah, that's my problem now.
This is the Liligo T-Echo, and it's a LoRa device, Meshtastic APRS thingy, but it's got an e-paper screen here, which is really, really nice. There's at least one video coming on this pretty soon. I filmed it a little bit today. The thing about this is that the usual Ricardo Gussman firmware for all the other Liligo devices for LoRa APRS is not available for this one. So there are basically 2 firmwares that I found. One made by a German ham and one made up by a French ham. And the German firmware had precompiled binaries. That's nice, I thought. That can make me get up and running in 15 minutes. And basically, it was up and running in 15 minutes, except it didn't have my call sign or the correct LoRa frequency or any of the transmit settings in it, basically. It was a really good LoRa APRS receiver, but it didn't transmit. And turns out that there's a solution for that. There's a simple Python script that connects to the Dingus through Bluetooth. And because I didn't want to dig up an old laptop, put Linux on it, and all kinds of stuff, I tried running Python in Windows. I cannot, by any stretch of imagination, recommend running Python in Windows.
It works well.
It's what I've been doing all week.
Yeah.
Because the script kept crashing every time I tried to run it, and I couldn't figure out why. No error messages, nothing to debug. I even asked ChatGPT, and that gave me a bunch of stuff that was imaginary to try to fix. So I spent about 6 hours yesterday morning trying to get this thing to work on Windows. Then I found an old laptop, fired in the smallest Ubuntu distro I could find on it, just in order to do this. Of course, my Wi-Fi didn't work with that distro, so I had to find a network cable, which basically meant kneeling over on the small table next to my router with the laptop. But it took about 3 minutes to get everything run. Really nice menu-driven script. Just press 1, enter a call sign. Press 2, enter a frequency. Press 3, enter the power. Press 4, check your settings, and then you're done. It's got a really good battery life. I haven't charged it since I got it. It's still at about 30% battery because of that. I'm guessing because of that e-paper screen.
How often does that update, and how quick is the update?
It updates every time there's some new information, but it updates really. Let's see if I can get it to focus and get it close enough here. Let's change the screens here. So you see, it updates pretty fast.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty fast because
But you have backlight on now.
The backlight is on now when I press the button. Now the backlight light is off.
That's really nice because I think a few years ago I got an e-paper display from some maker fair and it was a really super slow one. Yeah, admittedly it also had a red color, but it's like 60 seconds until you have new display content, and so it's pretty much not usable for dynamic display of information.
Yeah,
but if it updates within a second, that's perfectly fine.
It's really fast compared to my e-paper e-reader, which takes twice the time as flipping a page to update the page. This is actually really good. And I actually heard someone else here now.
Wow.
26 minutes ago, I heard LD1FL here. 83.3 kilometers away, so that's got to be through my digipeater with the 3-element dummy load.
Oh, but that dummy load, to be fair, is pointing in direction of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I love this little dingus. As far as I've tested, I haven't been out with it yet because my car was frozen solid, and there was no way of attaching a metal or a mag mount to the roof of it today.
Yeah, maybe we have to do a Meshtastic update stream this year because things are
APRS
developing
stream.
slightly, at least here in the Munich area. There's quite a number of nodes now. None of the users can agree to the same topic on MQTT, but something's happening at least, right?
Yep. So we should definitely do a follow-up on LoRa, both regarding Meshtastic and LoRa APRS, which is finally catching on here in Norway as well. The T-Echo is a little bit more expensive as a tracker than the T-Beam that everyone seems to use. But except for the Fisher Price as plastic, it's pretty decent. So that little thingy is my ham radio moment of the week.
Nice.
Yep. That's cool. I have one of them on the way as well.
What a surprise.
You know this because you sent me the
I sent you the link and I saw that you ordered
it's all your
through.
fault, Morten, as usual.
Yeah, you're enabling me here.
Yeah, I'm the enabler. Good thing you have the VGC N76 already.
That is true. And I saw you got a yellow one. Just so you're aware, that's only 7 dBs.
Yeah,
my red one is plus 10.
But my yellow one was the one that said orange on the website.
Okay.
But that's
and then
details,
I got a set of compact mobile whip with some exchangeable coils on it. Haven't tested that yet due to the mag mount issue. and a retro gaming console that can also do FD8.
Do we know this by now, or is this still just speculation?
It runs Android 13.
Yeah, that should be
and
right.
It's open for side-loading apps. So I haven't tested it for sure yet, but I'm hoping it will.
Yeah. USB-C?
USB-C.
Good stuff.
And let's say I watched another segment of YouTube, so I should say this. It emulates the Nintendo console that came after the Wii U. Nintendo is kind of litigious here.
Yeah,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I know what Nintendo is.
You can play current console games on a device from China.
But it doesn't have a touchscreen to control Wi-Fi.
It does have a touchscreen as well.
Okay.
It's basically a high-end. It's basically a high-end cell phone with game controls permanently attached to it.
Does it have Minesweeper on it?
You can probably play Minesweeper on it as well. And
cool.
FD8.
And Solitaire. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we should move to Øystein.
Let's go ahead to the and what did we call it again?
The Dingus.
The Dingus, the automatic tuning coil compatible with the ASU radios, something like that. I'm just going to move us around so Øystein can get the big picture here. And go ahead, Øystein. Tell us about your tuning coil here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I was basically I've been playing around with the FT891 for about a year now, and I've been trying to figure out what tuner to get, and then I noticed ATAS feature, and it got this nice feature documented in the manual, which I couldn't make use of. And so I started to think about this magic, like you have in your title here. And I've been actually from the time I got the license, I wanted to do remote antenna switch. So I only had to have one coax and a signal cable going out of my house. And then I learned that it's possible to control this antenna switch through the coax cable while sending RF through the coax cable. So and that's quite intriguing magic. Yeah. So I started to research ATAS, trying to figure out what to do about this. And I found there is actually a tuner that runs on ATAS. LDG RT100 is compatible with ATAS. But yeah, and researching this, I figured it's not all that complicated after all. And I wanted to make a go of making my ATAS compatible loading coil. Yeah, so I did a lot of research on YouTube, and yeah, N4H&H is a good source with some good ATAS videos. And I found some documentation and a bit on ATAS, but also I learned about the whole magic of running signals through the coax cable. And let me pull that up for you. And the whole magic is actually quite simple. And it's something we all learned about in our taking our license. It's something called we didn't learn the name bias T, but that's the thing. I don't know. You see it up on the screen now, probably.
Yeah, we can see
absolutely.
it.
So what we have here is a T, and it's made up of a capacitor and an inductor. And what we learned is that capacitor can be blocking DC, and an inductor can impede the AC or RF. So what the bias T is doing, you get the AC running through the capacitor, and you get
So that's
DC.
your radio, right? Transmitting.
Yeah, we come back to that. Yeah, of course. And you have the DC going through the inductor, and when those meet, you get AC DC out on the one side. So what we have in the radio system, we have the transmitter on the radio running RF through the coax, through the capacitor, and we have a DC control for going through the inductor, and so the RF doesn't get into the control, the DC control, and the DC does not get into the transmitter, but those both meet on the coax cable and going to the coil. And on the coil side, you have the same thing. You have a bias T. It separates DC for the motor controller and you can have a capacitor for the antenna, but actually in my setup I don't need a capacitor because I use a ground plane antenna, and it is a open circuit, so the DC doesn't do anything on the antenna end.
Yeah, you can put a light bulb on your antenna if you want. No.
Yeah, so it really depends. If I were to use another antenna, like what should it
A
be?
loop?
Like a mag loop or something like that, it would be a short, and we need a capacitor. Yeah, so that is basically the whole idea. Now, how should I go about this? So yeah, the result is let me get my workbench up here. The result is this loading coil.
The first bias T, the one on the left on your drawing, is
Yeah.
that inside the radio in the case of the 8991?
Yes, that is correct. In the Yaesu radios, in ATAS compatible Yaesu radios, the first bias T with the TX and control, DC control, is inside the radio.
And
Cool.
they probably also put in the tuning logic of measuring the SWR, giving the motor a voltage, and then see the SWR dip and detecting that. That's all in the 891, right?
Yeah, that's correct. And so it's not really anything complicated on the antenna side for knowing which way to go. It just has to take the instructions from the radio and drive the motor accordingly. And
Yeah, so
the radio
basically
has
it says tune up or tune down. That's what the radio tells the antenna,
But
right?
honestly, maybe you're getting to this, but is this automatic? Does it tune automatically?
Yes. So the ATAS, when you have enabled ATAS as the tuner in the radio, you have a tuning button you push on, and then it starts to send 10-watt signal while it runs the motor and try to find a good spot for SWR.
Maybe put the sketch away, then we can see you again, Øystein.
Yeah. I will go to my workbench here, and
So
perfect.
Basically, just to get when it does the tuning cycle, does the radio always know in what direction to start moving the motor, or can you risk it starting going all the way to one end and then having to go back?
Yes, correct.
All right.
It doesn't know. It's not the radio, when you power it off and you power it on again, and you may have a switch out the antenna or use the antenna from a different radio to this, so it doesn't know where to start, where it is, on what position on the coil it is, and it doesn't do a SWR sweep. It just measures SWR and try to go in the right direction.
When you say try to go in the right direction, after you've used the radio for a while, when the radio knows or has an idea of the position of the motor, will it then always move in the right direction, or can it still move in the wrong direction and have to turn around and go back?
In my experience, after I turned the radio on, the first time I tried to tune the band, it will go just try in one direction. Maybe it hits the end and it goes back to the other end and try to find a working SWR. But after you have got it in tune on one band, for instance, 40 meters, it knows when you turn to 80 meters that it needs more inductance. So it goes in the right direction to get more inductions.
How long an element do you use for this?
I've tried different lengths. I've used my antenna whip for telescopic whip for testing. So I've been using up to the full length, a little more than 5 meters. It's 17 feet. I don't know.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And but I've also shortened it down to about 1.5 meter. And there were some questions here in the chat about 80 meters. Yes, I got it in tune on 80 meters. all the way down to just 1.5 meter antenna on 80 meters. But of course, it's a compromise. It's better to use a longer antenna. Yeah. So I got it in tune on 80 and all the bands upwards that I want. I do want to test. My calculations say that I should be able to get it on 160 as well with a longer element, and that's why I made this the way I did it. I have this. Screw posts, so I can connect any length of wire as my. This is the ground connection, and I already loosened the top one, and I have a similar connection on the top, so I can have any length of wire connected to this coil. And yeah, I haven't. So I did all my testing just with the antenna whip, telescopic whip. So my max length was about 5 meters, but should be able to get other lengths, and it really doesn't do anything else than add inductance to the antenna. That's all.
But of course, the tricky bit is to get the mechanics right. You know,
Yeah,
you have
exactly.
To, get the motor moving and make solid contact and not flimsy contact, and that's the trick.
Yeah, and since I made that first video on this antenna, I have made some improvements on just that. Yeah.
Since you're actually in fact only adding inductance, would that mean that if you, let's say you put up the 5 meter pole, would it be possible to tune that pole to, let's say, 15 meters or 10 meters? It doesn't sound like that should be possible.
No.
Okay.
So 5 meter whip, I got it up to 30 meters. Not even 20 meters, because there's maybe I don't reach the full, and I haven't researched that part, but I have to go a little lower than 5 meters to get on 20.
So basically the whip has to be
quarter wavelength,
shorter than the highest band you were going to use it on.
Yeah, quarter wave or shorter.
Yeah.
And also, it need a good ground plane. Probably, what I did use as ground plane was 4 radials cut to 20 meters, and I also had the 4 radials to some other upper band, but I total 8 short radials I used.
But these are radials on the ground mostly.
Yeah.
So their length, the combined length, I would guess, is more important than the individual
combined length. Is always the important part when you have radials on ground.
Yeah, and I have a fence going along my plot here. So in metal. So I was thinking about connecting my ground plane to the fence and trying some other length of wire. That would be fun.
I'm sure the neighbor's going to love that.
And I'm just going to say thank you to Patty Boy for becoming a member of our channel. If you want to become a member, there's a button down below here somewhere. Click that to become a member of our channel. Thank you so much, Patty Boy.
Yeah. And so I also, during testing, I wanted to hook up my my spectrum analyzer. So I made this this driver. It's you're able to drive regular ATAS antennas and my antenna, and what it is just basically the bias T and a voltage regulator. And if I flip the switch one way, it takes the power directly from the battery and run it to through the coax to my coil, and if I take it the other way, it run it through the voltage regulator. And to be compatible with ATAS, the voltage levels is about 8 volt and 12 volt. So yeah, that's.
I think there was something similar that Mike M0MSN recently, well, what means recently, a few weeks or months ago, built on his channel together with Callum. Yeah, I think he also made one of these controllers.
I haven't seen that.
The controller.
I haven't seen that video.
Yeah, the controller.
Yeah. And MFJ has a pre-built controller. I don't know the full name of that, but yeah,
But it
there
doesn't
are,
look like there's a lot in there, right? Voltage
No.
regulator, a few capacitors, and the switch, right? Or
Yeah,
maybe a
it's,
diode.
yeah, it's just a capacitor, a bias T, and a voltage regulator.
Right.
Did you
Right.
design and build the bias T yourself, or is that a pre-built part?
No, I did. No, I did find some values online and just built it from that. It's a capacitor and a small inductor here. I don't know if you see it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is a it's not something you wound yourself. It's just an inductor for a set amount of
Yeah.
Henrys.
Yeah, it's the green one there. So more complicated. There are for this purpose, this is enough. But if you want to get a more clean filter, of course they add more inductors and capacitors to smooth out the power levels. So there are, I think, MFJ also have a bias T product. It's just a box that is a bias T, but it has a lot more components to get a clean. I don't know what they use that for. It's but if you need to get power to your tower, you can.
Yeah, but you can use bias T for, let's say you have an active receive antenna up in your up in your tower. It's so much easier to use bias T for that than running a separate power cable up to that antenna.
If you have a GPS with an external antenna, then that's almost guaranteed to be powered by bias T as well. So
yeah, and I gotta say though, the ATAS system is so much smoother than, let's say, what I have which is a Tar heel, which I never use because there's so many wires involved. Because you need the coax and you need a separate wire for the control box, and then you need power to the motor of the antennas. You need 3 sets of cable to the Tar heel. Whereas on the ATAS, you get by with 1. So with a separate ATAS control box, you could use an ATAS compatible antenna or an actual ATAS with any radio, which I think it's the beauty of this.
Simplicity, but you don't have any feedback of where your coil currently is, right? So you have to
trust me, you don't have that. You don't have that on the Tar heel as well.
Okay.
but I want to see what's inside the white tube.
Yeah.
Can we see?
Yeah, of course. So when I started to design this, I actually just started with the tube. It's a 50 millimeters PVC pipe, and I just thought that was a really neat package. But of course, that added quite a lot of complexity. I don't know if I would go that design route again. I'm actually thinking of making some other options for this when I was thinking of making the same with magnets, so I can mount it on the roof, but then inside a square box maybe. But let's open up and see what's here. So it's just friction fitted. These caps I've 3D printed, so I can push out the content here.
That is some beautiful design work, Øystein.
Yeah,
Sweet.
Yeah, so it is the inductor itself is 40 millimeter in diameter, I think, if I remember correct. It's about 20 centimeters long, and we got 80 windings on here. And according to the calculation, that would give me 50 microhenry at max and 0 at the lowest position. And but measuring this with this cheap component identification tool I have, what is it called? Multi-function tester. Yeah. It tests up to 70 microhenry. So I don't know.
Better use a nano VNA if you have one. Maybe that would be
or just
easier.
just an oscilloscope. If you have a known good capacitor, you can create an RC circuit and measure it on the oscilloscope.
Yeah, I could probably measure it better, but somewhere around there. And the nice thing about it, it doesn't matter too much because it's tunable.
Right. That's a
but,
benefit.
But it's I designed it so at first there are some nice calculators that let you punch in the length of the radiating element and the coil position and stuff like that, and you get out what inductance you need for the bands you want to work. So
I'm just
found
gonna
out-
break in here, Øystein, because Tim mentions a peak LCR meter, and it's. Let me see if we can get the camera here.
oh,
and
you
make-
got one. That was
One
one
of
of
these.
my wishes for Christmas, but I didn't get. So
if you
so
want
I
to,
have
if you
wait.
want to borrow it, just let me know.
Yeah.
Mine's just mostly collecting dust, but I got that from a silent key sale, and it was such a good deal that I couldn't resist getting it.
Yeah, let's do a test on the coil with that one. It would be a
Yep.
much better reading, of course.
So how are you
both-
moving the contacts now?
Yeah,
on the
that's-
motor here.
Okay, yeah. So I figured at least this was the length, the size I wanted. But to get the space for the contacts, I had to place the contacts on the inside, and that's a bit interesting here. Oh, I have to disconnect. I have that's something. The ATAS antennas, from what I think, when the radio doesn't know where to tune and it goes all the way to one end, it just goes to that end, run the motor for a set time. So that means when it's getting to the end, the ATAS antennas, it has some clutch, I think, system.
Okay, so it keeps pushing, which is maybe not so good. So you
so-
added a contact to
Yeah,
stop the motor.
Yeah, I added micro switches to detect the ends, and it's a tradition. Yeah, we could go into the circuit later. Okay, if we get time. But let's pull out the hardware here. It's a.
I'm
shaft.
just going to say we're going to make time until you've explained this, Øystein, because
Yeah.
this is awesome.
Okay,
Because
so
we just took 30 minutes for our ham radio moments.
yeah.
Okay.
So here's the shaft and a slider here, and let me pull out these contact points. So we can see the shaft through this opening. Oh, how to?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And at first, I just had some springs, and actually I used BB gun, like these small metal balls, to make contact with the coil on the inside. But yeah, let me show you the inside of the coil here. You see, I had to design a track where it could slide, and so the coil goes from the inside through the holes, and so it's exposed on the inside as well. In this.
So is that all bare metal, or did you scrape it off just at the contact point, the enamel?
No, this is bare metal. It's it's actually what you use to bind metal in construction for when you do concrete. You bind the metal with this. So
but it's
is
copper, or
it's copper. Yeah.
yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
it's just a bit oxidized on the outside now after a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's where it slides, and so this slider runs into the inside of the coil, and I ended up my improvement was designing this. It's like when you have a small it was 4.5 millimeter running along this, it actually catches a bit on the coil. So I had the motor.
You have
was
to make it
running
wide
over.
enough for two wires in parallel, or
Yeah, it did connect with two wires in parallel, but still it was hard to push along because
Yeah.
it went too far down in the grave in in between,
Okay.
and the angle of attack was too much. It did work, but the motor was had a hard time, I think. So I designed this more like a ski that runs along on the inside, though.
These are what kind of workshop do you have? This is just amazing.
This is just being creative. I show you what it is. One moment.
Yeah, I
And-
said this is amazingly done.
And please don't tell Bob to buy anything now, Øystein.
No.
And what,
I know.
The
Bob.
fun part is I probably have everything I need to make that, except for the patience.
Bob, I promise you have it. I know you have this.
Yeah.
It's copper pipe.
Just cut up.
Yeah, I just cut off like 4 millimeters of copper pipe, open it up, and shape it to
Yeah.
ski. And then you have the spring. You could probably use a ball-pointed pen spring, or what it's called.
Did you?
Yeah,
How did you mount that on the copper pipe?
Soldering.
Okay.
I got a couple of
Solder it on
comments
in
here.
both ends, and then I had some wire running on the side because I was a bit concerned about the inductance in the spring itself interfering.
Yeah.
So-
I got a couple of comments here, Øystein. First of all, Colin MM0OPX says that this is a stunning piece of engineering, and coming
I
from
agree.
him, that's a real compliment. And Colin also asked, what's the spacing of the wire on the coil?
Yeah, you could calculate it. 80, I don't remember. It's 20 centimeters long, 80 turns, 1 millimeter, I think, copper wire.
So
That's
do you have,
1.5 millimeter spacing then. Should be.
do you
Shouldn't it?
have grooves in
Never do
your
math on
3D
stream.
printed piece?
Yeah,
Or?
it's grooves in the 3D print,
Okay.
and it's a nightmare to wind, and that's why
Yes,
I
I
would,
can imagine.
yeah, because every turn you have to thread it all the full length. You have to thread through twice.
Oh,
So it took a while, and so that's also a reason to redesign and make this into another package that isn't confined in a this nice pipe, but rather a square box maybe and contact running on the outside.
See that thing, your next iteration, that thing, it should fit in the bottom of a DX Commander travel pole.
Oh, that would be nice.
That would be very, very cool.
Oh,
But just got to say that's a stunning piece of engineering, Øystein. And I just have to ask, because people are going to ask in the comments, how much do you charge for making one?
okay. So yeah, maybe it was a bit clickbaity to say $20 for a ATAS coil. Yeah, the parts are not too expensive, but
It's the time, right?
the work hours, yeah, it takes a while.
Yeah, I was going to say that it has to take a while. I just got to ask, in the bottom section there on your right side there, is that just a bias T, or is there any kind of microcontroller in there as well?
Yeah, we will get to that. Yeah, as well. I will also point to this. I had to make another flexible contact. That is problem is also down here. It's also the same. It's a spring and the same pipe that I shaped. So it's have a bit push to the shaft there.
So,
So
that's
that's
a
the-
3 millimeter M3 thread thingy?
Yeah.
Okay. And what kind of motor did you use, or where did you get that from?
That's an AliExpress motor. It's let me see. I did have a spare one here. Yeah, I have a box here with parts. And what I did order a few different gear.
Yeah, I said I have the parts already. I have several of those. So
Yeah, I don't remember what the turn rate is on the motor I did use. I can get back to that. It's probably this one. What does it say?
So it's geared down a little, or?
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
that-
yeah, it's geared
a
down.
lot. an awful lot actually. So,
And what I can do, I can actually show you what's happening while. Let me power this on, and we can connect a few wires, and we can see it move. Let's see if we do it like that. And let me first. I just have to hold the positive end to the shaft now, but that I disconnected everything, but it should run. Let me try with 8 volts first.
Yeah. Have you built like a control box for this that you can use without the radio as well? Like if you don't have a FD891?
What?
Like, can you control this without the IC radio as well if you build a simple
Yeah,
control
that
box?
was the box he showed at the beginning with the 2
Yeah,
switches.
that's the one.
But it's not automatic then, of course. You just have an up and down switch.
Ah, yeah.
So then it's basically a Tar Heel with less wires.
Yeah, but single wire is nice.
Sorry, Tim. I know you love the Tar Heel, but I find the Tar Heel so much of a hassle.
Here it
There's
runs.
movement.
To that
Nice.
end, I have to stop because my micro switch isn't engaging now. Let me take 12 volts, and you can see it move the other direction. Here. Oh. So it's running quite slow. You see? I don't know.
Okay.
I have to get back with the exact motor speed, but yeah, it takes a while.
But you have an end stop
But it's
switch at the top
I
as well?
think it's probably about the same. It with the ASU rate.
Oh, we lost Øystein.
Oh
Yep.
no.
No, we can't lose Øystein now.
Nope. Too exciting.
Yeah.
He seems like a fairly smart guy. I'm sure he's going to be able to reconnect. So let's
I
just
would
say
think
nice
so.
things about this
Yep.
amazing design. This
And
he could sell
We
easily.
are
instead of
we
shop.
are going to go on overtime here, but this is ham radio workbench material.
Yes.
This is presentation at a Hamfest material. This is genius.
When
And
he's back, he has to tell us how long it took him, to get to this state, because this looks like weeks of iteration. At least with my amount of spare time, I would be, 6-month project or something.
Yeah, and
and
also
we
Whoa,
lost him
what happened
completely now. We lost
him.
Øystein completely.
Oh,
yeah, and just like winding that coil, that looks like a lot of pain when you're, as he mentioned there, through all of those small holes. So, but I'm sure like this is the first prototype, but second iteration of this is gonna have something much smoother, something that's so much easier to build.
but
And,
probably not going to look nearly as nice.
No. This is beautiful.
Yeah. For those that haven't,
Fitting
really
that
big...
into that confined space and making it work is an achievement.
I am so impressed, and I'm just so sad we lost him. Let's see if he comes back though.
Yep.
Because at the worst possible time, he's here.
Yeah,
Hey.
I'll let you do it, Morten.
Yep.
There we go.
There we go. Welcome back, Øystein.
Sorry, back. Sorry, I just lost the internet, so I'm running off my cell phone now. I don't know what's happening.
We just said that it was the worst possible time to lose you.
Okay. So yeah, you saw the thingy moving.
Yep.
So how much time did you spend on this until you got it to this state?
Oh, I have no idea.
Like half a
but I
year
have a lot
or
of fun along the way.
months or weeks or
No, it's I think that what took most time was winding this coil. It was a couple of hours just winding this coil. That was boring. But
we're talking about the guy that taught himself CW in about 2 weeks here. But still, Øystein, you had to have
okay. So
you
multiply Øystein's number by 10, and then you get a normal person's. No.
Yeah, but you have to have spent a great deal of time just on the design part of this. because it's so well designed. I mean, you could have put together something rough that didn't look too good as a proof of concept, but you've actually made this a really nice package as well.
Yeah, thank you. I hope so.
I have to ask: is this your first attempt, or did you have a prototype before this to work out how the whole thing was supposed to fit together?
Oh, it is the first design, kind of. I did print some shorter to test first, test the slider, test
But
the inductors. But it was basically the same design, and the one thing I have changed is the slider. I had here is the old one where I used
the BBs.
BBs in the spring,
Yeah.
the same spring, I think. But then there's everything. Yeah, so this was on the shaft. The spring goes inside, and then the BB, and then that was my first.
But since the BBs are, I mean, they're lead, that would wear after a while as well, since it's so
No, it's
soft.
not lead. I think it's steel.
It's probably not lead anymore. It used to be lead, but as with most things, it's probably not lead anymore.
It's actually zinc plated steel. Yeah.
James got a question if you can kit the parts, and I think probably at least a bill of material is probably what he wants for this.
Yeah, I definitely will. I am going to explain more about this coil in my on my channel and provide some help in designing. And when I think I'm starting to get to something that others can build, and so I will provide the printing STL files.
Yep. Steve is wondering how are the electronics working here?
Yeah. So the electronics. I have a little sketch about that. So here we go. You have the coax antenna coming in, and you have the inductor.
We're not seeing your sketch yet.
Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. Sit there. Now.
There we go.
There we go. Okay, so we have the coax inductor that blocks RF, and I run it through a voltage regulator down to 6 volt, and we have two voltage dividers. So we get two set of a reference voltage. Come back to that later. And we also have a voltage divider from the DC in without the regulator. So we measure the voltage in against this reference voltages in an op amp, actually two op amps that are configured in opposite ways. So that means if we have voltage of about less than 8.5 voltage, one of them triggers, and if we have voltage above about 10 volts, I think the other one triggers, and it draws an H bridge or a dual direction motor controller. And here this one the ATAS does not have. It's the micro switches for
the end stops
and detection. Yeah, and we have the motor. And you see what this does is we have added the diode, so it reaches the end and it breaks the circuit. But now you are able to run the motor in the other direction through the diode.
Oh, that's so clever. So there's actually no feedback to your electronics from the stop switches. They just stop the movement or the flow of electricity to move the motor in that direction. That's brilliant.
Yeah. That's a common design on these end switches for the motor. So, but the backside of that is that it gets a voltage drop here, and then actually can detect that. You can hear it on the motor that it's running slower the first until it releases again the switch.
That's called slow start. It's a feature, not a bug.
Okay.
Yeah, but without the diodes, you would just run into the end stop and never be able to start again, right?
Yeah. But I figured another way to do this, and that is actually putting the micro switches in and break one of the voltage into the op amp.
Right.
One of the inputs to the op amps, and that would also stop the motor.
But then you would have to run at least 2 wires from the top of the coil all the way down, and that would probably be exposed to RF and with all the interesting things that can happen.
I do that now. I have to do that now as well. I'll show you.
I think we saw a RG175 cable or so.
Yes, it is.
Shielded, of course.
So it's the RG316.
Oh, of course.
Down.
Yeah.
So I use. I hoped it would get some shielding, and it does work. But that was the only way to get something to send the signal back to the circuit. I don't know how else to. The motor is in this end of the coil, so I have to get the signal from the top and down here.
Do you work in mechanical engineering? Is that what you do?
I was going to ask the exact same question here, Bob. What's your day job, Øystein?
No, I'm a software engineer, so I don't do mechanics. I'm a farmer's son, so
that helps.
I think that helps a bit.
And I see that Michael has asked the same thing in the chat here as well.
Yeah. It's often like that, once you do software, you enjoy hardware so much more.
Maybe.
That's a very good point, Tobias. Very good point.
And then there are the ones of us that actually are not engineers, but travel agents.
Yeah. But this is really cool to see.
I have to say, as ham radio projects go, this I think is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Okay.
I can't think of anything I've seen that's cooler than this. This is so amazingly well done. I'm blown away. It's fantastic.
And I'm just gonna say one thing here though. George, Mark, Thomas, Vince, Mike, anyone on the ham radio workbench, if you're watching this or listening to the podcast,
invite Øystein. He has some stories to tell.
Get this guy on, because this is a fantastic project.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe one more question. Did you have any contact problems? I mean, with the sliders and with the contact at the bottom of the 3mm rod? Does it, is it making good contact? Does it oxidize? Or I mean, long-term test is still outstanding, probably, but
of course,
how confident are you?
No, that was the two points I have improved. Yeah, I didn't show this one. My first attempt was using. I wanted to find some spring steel to rub against the shaft here. I didn't have that laying around. Maybe I could have used. I was thinking maybe these measuring tapes. They have spring steel. Could have wiped that clean and put it on and let it rub against. I ended up using a bit too hard a thingy that doesn't spring too much, and it was rubbing too hard against, and it wasn't making good contact. So it was breaking the motor too much, and it didn't make too good. So as I was tuning, I saw that SWR was jumping a lot up and down, and I noticed that it was open circuit at some radians around. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I redesigned using now a spring and a copper, and that seems to be working nicely for now. of course, long-term use haven't been done yet. I have had it on 2 POTAs now. One of them I did all my contacts on 80, 40, and 30 meters using this coil. So it does work. It was nice. I did get good reports also. So, but that's all my testing as far as getting out this thing goes.
Fantastic.
But the joy is in designing and building this, not necessarily using it. Am I right?
Yeah, what I want to do is my next goal in POTA would be probably to do the N1CC. Is that is called?
Yeah.
10
Yep.
parks, 10 bands.
That's a fun one.
That's a good antenna to have for taking that challenge. And the ATAS, that can tune all the way to 70 sems, can't it?
Yeah, depending on the width you use.
The normal the ATAS 120A is from 40 meters to 70 centimeters, I think.
Yep.
I have
And-
released this on 70.
Oh,
And Tim B's got a question here about how much power can go through the antenna or the coil.
I've been running 100 watts through it on SSB
Yeah.
on and I think it took 50 watt on CW at one point there.
Yeah. It's
That's
not. I don't think
impressive.
it's something you'd want to use full legal limit on, but
Of course not.
knowing that it can handle 100 watts is at least good.
How heavy
Yeah.
is the thing? Like, is it usable for SOTA as well, or just short hikes?
Good
it's,
question.
I
Should I
think
estimate a kilo?
Yeah, that's nothing.
it weighs probably less
That's an
than.
estimation.
Probably
Considering
less than
that
any external
you
tuner
are not
you would take along that would handle 100 watts easily.
Yeah, considering that you're not bringing your drone anymore on activations yet, you
I
can
am.
stop the weight with this one.
That's just cruel. That's just cruel.
I'm bringing my other drone, Martin, the one that didn't
It is more
get
expensive
attacked
to
by a tree.
crash. Oh, ouch.
But,
Okay.
but I must agree with Bob here. This is like of a DIY project. This is one of the coolest things I see, and
Yeah.
it combines like electronics and mechanical engineering, and in a beautiful package. This is stunningly good.
Yeah.
This is what I would expect from like a commercial product.
Yeah, this is way better than MFJ if that actually says something.
So you're thinking about the next iteration probably already and redesigning things a bit, or did I get that
Yeah,
right?
so what I'm not, I would probably, if this was going to be a product, I would like it to be a bit shorter. I think it could be shorter, and this is the nice thing about this design with the slider on the inside. You know, the ATAS antenna, it has the sliders on the outside, and also it moves the whole coil up and down with the antenna. So it gets longer and shorter, and you have moving parts on the outside. This is all
Yeah, that
contained.
stays fixed length, right?
Yeah, and so no moving parts on the outside that can snag or do anything. I think that's a nice thing. But it came out a bit longer than I had hoped for, and of course I can probably compact a bit here, and maybe in the top as well. You see the length is when it's together, it's about this. Yeah,
Right. We can
I have
easily
some room
lose
on
10 centimeters on the bottom, I think, maybe. Yeah.
And James
And,
James got some farmer references here. He asked if there are any Case or New Holland parts anywhere in the build.
Okay, someone need to explain that reference.
Those are farm equipment brands.
Ah, okay.
sorry, no farm gear here. It's
No.
yeah. But
So
I should
what have you
probably
used
figure
for-
out a way to incorporate that?
Yeah. So what have you used to like 3D design and 3D print this? Like what's CAD
It's
modeling tool?
designed Fusion 360.
Yeah, and what kind of printer do you have for this?
It's all the Ender 3 and Ender 3 Pro.
Nice. So you can do it with pretty basic stuff that everybody can get access to.
The Ender 3 is a fantastic printer if you're willing to spend the 200 or 300 hours to tune it properly. So I'm not joking. That can be a fantastic machine, but you have to spend the time to
you
make
have
it.
to spend the money and the time, and it'll end up as expensive as a Prusa before it's properly tuned.
I did not spend much money on my Ender 3. I hardly spent any money on it, but I spent an awful lot of time on it, and it prints really well now.
I got an Ender 5, and I've tuned it once. I spent a lot of time tuning it once, and it's stayed that way now for 4 years.
Yep.
And I found this is printed in PETG, so I find that harder on the Ender 3 than PLA.
Yeah, but it will work outside at least.
Yeah.
So and I guess, like, if you would like, you could probably weather seal this pretty well as well with some sort of tape or something outside. So,
the problem is that the moment you weather seal it, then something inside is going to break. So don't.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about this, if I ruin anything here, I've designed it myself. I know a good guy to go to.
Yep.
So
you know whose fault it is.
I just gotta say, Øystein, thank you so much for coming on and talking about this project. I think all of us are pretty much blown away by what you've done here. My initial thought was that it would look a lot more janky on the inside than it actually does.
No.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. It looks from the size, it's like a little dude, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And the length of it is about 55 centimeters. So,
Yep. It's about a little dude.
Yep.
This is amazing. Everyone watching this live and on the later on, you need to subscribe to us and the YouTube channel so you can follow along on the future.
Let's put his channel up on the screen here again.
I mean, the nice thing, of course, is if you use that together with the 891, that you get the automatic tuning, right? You don't have to, measure yourself and press the up and down arrow button. You just hit the tune.
But I'm not. It may be that the ATAS antenna hits better, but I think it stops tuning a bit too early on the automatic tune. But you have the option on the 891 to press PTT and then
to nudge it higher, or.
And then while you press PTT, press up and down, and it starts to send the same signal, and you can manually go up and down till you hit spot on. And then it's easy to have everything.
Yeah, maybe Yaesu designed it for their antenna and put some delay in, right?
Yeah, the correct delay and stuff like that. So it stops sometimes at around 2-to-1, or turning it manually, I can get it all the way down to 1-to-1.
Or maybe it's your gearing ratio, because you're moving slower. You stop maybe too early. Maybe that's it.
And I just got a comment. James says that ATAS only works on 40 and up, and I guess that depends on the length of the whip, though. If you put a longer whip on an ATAS, you should be able to use that for higher than or lower than 40.
Yeah, but the design isn't. They haven't made it really easy to switch out the whip, so it is designed only for 40 to 40 meters to 70 centimeters.
But that's for the Yaesu ATAS, not for the Øystein ATAS.
The automatic tuning coil compatible with the Yaesu radios.
Yep.
I'm seriously blown away, Øystein. And it seems like the chat is as well. So everyone, go over to Øystein's channel and subscribe straight away. Yes, seriously, Øystein. We need to meet up for a POTA so I can see this in real life.
Yeah, let's do that.
Can I come?
And I have. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do a meetup. And what I would like to redesign about this is making it simpler, because less is more often, and the complexity there's more thing that can go wrong. So I will like to make a design. This is a nice package for now, and maybe someone would like this package, but also I would like to make a design where the slider is on the outside and there's less parts, less stuff that can go wrong.
I think it's an interesting mechanical dilemma, how to design that as simple as possible and as robust as possible, right? So
Yeah.
So thanks once again for coming on, Øystein, and we'll be looking at your channel for more videos on this concept coming ahead.
Oh yeah.
And I guess that's our show for today. Next week is George from the Ham Radio Workbench talking about.
Come on, you always say that.
Yeah.
I've actually I sent him an email and said, I'm sorry for teasing you on the wrong date. I hope you're still good for the right date. Next Saturday, I'll be doing POTA as Mike stroke Lima Bravo 0 Fox India. Together with hopefully Colin, MM0 OPX, and Charlotte. I can't remember her call sign. She's in our Discord. I'll be going to Scotland, to the city I probably shouldn't pronounce wrongly as far as I've seen on YouTube travel videos, but I think it's Edinburgh.
I think you're doing well.
Yeah, I hope so. We got a couple of Scots in the chat, so I'm sure they will correct me if I'm wrong. I'll be doing QRP, but at least that should work really good. And Colin says that weather is looking good on the long range forecast. Yeah, I actually checked that, Colin. Looks like I don't need to bring any winter gear to Scotland, which is going to be really, really nice after the week we've had here. So let's not jinx that now. Anything else coming up this week for you guys that's worth mentioning?
Nope,
Really?
we're back to normal, regular work week.
Yeah.
And Ravi here will try to hunt me in Haggis land. And yes, I'm going to try Haggis. And I'll give you a full report on what Haggis is like next Sunday. And I won't buy a kilt as suggested here, but I'll probably buy some whiskey.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
And not a bagpipe, which is probably a good idea while on vacation, but it's like all those ideas which are good ideas when you're on vacation just doesn't work properly when you get home.
After
just
a
looking
few
forward
pints,
to a-
It looks like a good idea.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to a video of you doing POTA in a kilt.
Drinking whiskey
while
in
spraying
Scotland.
bagpipe.
Yeah, that's the stereotypes for today.
Yeah, that's I think we got enough Scottish stereotypes here. Thank you guys. We'll see you down the bands. We'll see you next week. 73, my friends.
73.
Bye bye. Have a good
Great.
one.